I got confused. Are we talking about fiction in the library, or are we talking about all books in the library?
We're talking about any books that contain sexually explicit content in the minor section of the library.
And per your definition, minor means under the age of 18.
That is correct.
But you're not only redefining what they can do, but you're imposing a civil penalty on every public library. You're not differentiating between pornography or something inappropriate. You have included in this definition of some which you don't like the words I read that you brought to this body in public with something that is basic teenage health.
This is not basic teenage health.
Masturbation is not basic teenage health? Do you really, as a young man, want to describe to me when you needed to learn about that? So, Representative Alders, my concern is, again, I didn't bring this legislation. You brought this legislation. You're attempting to not only impose civil penalties on public libraries, you're not only attempting to put more power in the Attorney General's office to enforce that, but you have created a definition, in my mind, that doesn't really intend to accomplish your goal. Because if your goal is to keep sexually explicit or deviant type of conduct of which you say you could never imagine appropriate for discussion. And I don't know how old you are, 20 or 30 years ago, but I would bet at some point you as a young man needed to have the discussion with somebody about what masturbation meant because your body at a young teenage age made you have to try to figure that out.
That wasn't a question I expected on the House floor.
Well, don't bring this kind of stuff to the House floor to warrant this kind of debate, and you won't have to answer these questions as the bill author.
Ms. Johnson.
The chair will admonish the members not to speak over each other.
I brought this legislation to the House floor to protect our kids. You are questioning me bringing this legislation to the House floor.
I'm questioning the manner in which you are conflating sexually explicit or dangerous conduct with basic health information for puberty, which hits people in their early teenage years. You're conflating the two. That's my concern.
It sounds like a great opportunity for a parent to give access to their child, to get a book off the shelf in the adult section and work through that education with their child when appropriate.
When did you get a puberty lesson in school? At what age? And were you provided?
I would like
a book?
To stay on the bill, Ms. Johnson.
This is about the bill.
This is not about the bill. This is
You're talking about education.
I would suggest that this is about your desire to ensure our children have access to sexually explicit material in our public libraries.
Representative Alders, do you know what I have done for a living?
Yes.
What have I done for a living?
Defend kids.
Do you know that I'm the former chief human trafficking prosecutor in Harris County? Do you know I'm one of the only people in this room that has actually gone to bat for this population in trying to make sure that kids are protected from sexually explicit conduct and abuse?
Ms. Johnson, I would suggest that this bill will help you.
Representative Alders, you should know your audience. I care very much about good public policy and protecting kids from sexual exploitation.
Good.
What you are doing is attempting just to get a nice campaign moment with everybody sitting there to suggest that I'm asking for something different, and I'm telling you, defining something under the age of 18, defining a term of which is a normal puberty condition that any teenage child may need to have information. If we as a nation can't allow a public library to have basic health, I'm not talking about these other definitions of which you didn't want to define and you weren't prepared to talk about in this public setting. I'm talking about basic puberty and public health that is trapped up in your extremely broad attempt to get your moment at the mic.